Assalamu alaikum. We are about to start now. So if I may request everybody to take a seat. To start off our proceedings, let me greet each and everyone with the universal greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. May the peace and blessings of God the Almighty be upon all of you. To start off our proceedings, I will call upon Ridwan Radamaya Sahib to bless our gathering this afternoon with the recitation of the Holy Quran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ومن يرغب عن ملة إبراهيم إلا من سفه نفسه ولقد اصطفيناه في الدنيا وإنه في الآخرة لمن الصالحين إذ قال له ربه أسلم قال أسلمت لرب العالمين ووصى بها إبراهيم بنيه ويعقوب يا بني إن الله اصطفى لكم الدين فلا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون أم كنتم شهداء إذ حضر يعقوب الموت إذ قال لبنيه ما تعبدون من بعدي قالوا نعبد إلهك وإله آبائك إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق إلها واحدا ونحن له مسلمون تلك أمة قد خلت لها ما كسبت ولكم ما كسبتم ولا تسألون عما كانوا يعملون وقالوا كونوا هودا أو نصارى تهتدوا قل بل ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين قولوا آمنا بالله وما أنزل إلينا وما أنزل إلى إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط وما أوتي موسى وعيسى وما أوتي النبيون من ربهم لا نفرق بين أحد منهم ونحن له مسلمون فإن آمنوا بمثل ما آمنتم به فقد اهتدوا وإن تولوا فإنما هم في شقاق فسيكفيكهم الله وهو السميع العليم والحمد لله رب العالمين جزاك الله
Jazakallah, Ridwan Radhamain Sahib. May Allah reward you with the best reward for the beautiful rendering of verses from chapter 2, verses 131 to 138 of the Holy Quran. To translate into English, we will call upon Mr. Shaheen Akun to read us the English of the verses.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And who will turn away from the religion of Abraham? But he who is foolish of mind. Him did we choose in this world, and in the next he will surely be among the righteous. When his Lord said to him, "Submit," he said, "I have submitted to the Lord of the worlds." The same did Abraham enjoin upon his sons, and so did Jacob, saying, "O my sons, truly Allah has chosen this religion for you, so let not death overtake you, except when you are in a state of submission." Were you present when death came to Jacob? When he said to his sons, "What will you worship after me?" They answered, "We will worship thy God, the God of thy fathers, Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac, the one God, and to him we submit ourselves." Those are a people that have passed away. For them is what they earned, and for you shall be what you earn, and you shall not be questioned as to what they did. And they say, "Be ye Jews or Christians, that you may be rightly guided." Say, "Nay, follow ye the religion of Abraham, who was ever inclined to God. He was not of those who set up gods with God." Say ye, "We believe in Allah and what has been revealed to us, and what was revealed to Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac and Jacob and his children, and what was given to Moses and Jesus, and what was given to all other prophets from their Lord. We make no difference between any of them, and to him we submit ourselves." And if they believe as you have believed, then are they surely guided. But if they turn back, then they are only creating a schism. And Allah will surely suffice thee against them, for He is all-hearing, all-knowing.
Thank you so much, Shaheen Akun Saib. Jazakallah, may Allah reward you with the best reward. Again, from my side, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of the Almighty God be upon all of you. On behalf of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat South Africa, I extend a hearty welcome to each and every one here. And we can only say, Alhamdulillah, all praise and gratitude belongs to the Almighty God for once more having brought all of us together. People from various walks of life, from across the religious borders, from across the cultural borders, from across the political borders as well, bringing people together today. It's quite unique. It is something to be cherished, where people can come together and share and learn from one another. And that is why we are here today. We need to learn from one another how we can live together, how we can establish peace and justice within our communities, within our broader South African community as well. So once more, a hearty welcome to all of you. Before we continue with the actual program, we have within our audience today, we have the Honorable Mayor of Paarl, Mr. Conrad Paarl, Executive Mayor. And may I request that you join us in front, please. And I don't know whether the other speakers have arrived yet. Is the Reverend Fani Krill here? The Chief Tembekele Mangena? No. Mr. Sali Young? Mr. Ashot Kumar? Please come and join us in front, please. Mr. Ashot Kumar is from the Hindu community. And Mrs. Baba Murali, Living Hope Ministries. And we have Mr. Abdul Aziz from the Islamic community. Please come and join us in front, please. Our national president, Mr. Mansoor Ahmed Zaid, sends his regrets that he cannot be with us today. He is really not feeling well. He is sick in bed. Our national president of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat South Africa, Mr. Mansoor Ahmed Zaid. I have next to me Mr. Rayan Alam Sahib, who is the Southern Circuit President. And I would like to call upon Mr. Rayan Alam Sahib to give us an opening address, and he will deal also with some of the verses that has been recited.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Mr. Chairman, Honorable Mayor, and our respected speakers this afternoon, our dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you with the Islamic greeting of Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, which means may the peace, may the blessings of God be upon all of you. May it descend upon you, may you continue to enjoy the blessings and mercy of God. You have been already welcomed, and as the chairman told you, my name is Rayan Alam, I'm the local president, and Our national president is not well today, and he's asked me to fill in for him today. So I have some big shoes to fill. Those of you who met him know he's a very nice man, a very pleasurable, easygoing man. So today I'm addressing you to open up our conference and to make some opening remarks about the verses that were recited just before me now by our brother Ridwan. But before I get into that, I think this is also, I must mention to you, the first time that we are in Paarl hosting this symposium. So I must give you some background about what this is all about. See, our community is a Muslim community, a sect within the many other sects in the religion of Islam. The religion of Islam, there are many sects and we are but one of them. But perhaps we are a community who believes that the Messiah that is awaited, the religious leader that is awaited in the latter days has already come and that we have accepted him. So that is who we are. And we are all around the world in various countries, more than 200 countries we have a presence. And we also have a supreme leader known as the Khalifa, or in English we say the Caliph. And you will see a picture of him in front here, on the left side there. On the right you'll see a picture of the founder of our community, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who started this community in 1889. And he passed on, and since his passing on in 1908, our community has been led by these Khalifas. And the one there, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, is the 5th head of this community. He's currently based in London, and the community does all kinds of social and religious work, this being part of it. And a great part of what we do, we try to do, is to spread the message of peace. We're not here simply to push our religious views on people, but we are here to spread things that we believe are common amongst all of the religions of the world. And speaking about things in common, since I am in Paarl, and I know this area is a sport-loving country, but a sport-loving area, who in the audience here is fond of rugby? If I may ask, by a show of hands, men and women, it's no problem. Nobody likes rugby, yeah? No? Okay, I always understood rugby to be something that is very, a passionate thing here, especially in this area. The Dal Josephat Stadium is also over here, and many years ago I used to play here when I played for the Retreat Rugby Club. Much younger I was, of course, then. And I remember coming out here at times to play some rugby as well. I say that because, when there's obviously differences in every segment of society on different things, different religions, different social levels. You get the poor, you get the rich, you get the different races, you get everything. And such a problem was faced with Nelson Mandela when he was released from prison in 1990, and when he then became the president in 1994. He was faced with a country with different religions, different groups, different ideologies. And he thought one thing he did was he identified rugby as something that the one particular group, the so-called white group, was very fond of. And he was in a position of power, and he could have pressed down and he could have hurt the people's feelings by saying, no, we're not going to play this game anymore. This is a game that represents that community and it's what they like. But instead what he did was he harnessed it. He didn't put it down. He says, you know what, we can use this to unify our country. And in fact, we bear witness, those of us who are older, that he did do it. He went on to use rugby as a way to unite the communities. The whole country was behind the rugby team back in 1996 when the Rugby World Cup was played here and won by the country. And the first time that it entered the contest. And he put that symbolic jersey on, the Springbok jersey number 6, and it brought about great feelings of pride amongst all South Africans, or most of them. Now, in the verses it was recited, God has used a common factor. A common factor, especially amongst the major religions of the world. He speaks of the Prophet Abraham. And Prophet Abraham is a common Prophet is our spiritual father as far as Jews, Christians, and Muslims are concerned. There's even some studies by some academics that he may even have been the spiritual father of other religions as well. But for Christians and Jews and Muslims, we've struck a chord here. He's a common father of us all. And a special tribute is paid to him. And in the verses that were read out and translated also, it says, "Who will turn away from the religion of Abraham? Who is but a fool?" Now the verse and the words used in the verse is not the word religion. The word for religion is deen, which means your religion, the way. You know, if you wish to accept a certain religion, a formal religion, then that is your choice. But the word here is millah. Who will accept the millah, who will turn away from the millah, the way, the approach of Abraham? And what approach did Abraham have? We know Abraham is close to us. We speak of him in Islam with great respect. The Christians hold him with great respect. The Jews hold him with great respect. We know he was a prophet that was tried and tested. He was pushed to the point where he had to leave his wife Hajira in the deserts of Arabia and then leave the two of them as he was ordered by God. Later on, he had to come back and he was told that he must sacrifice his son. And he realized all these hardships were just trials from God, because he never went on to do it. God had tried him in his faith. So the verses speak of the Jews and Christians and Muslims. They are perhaps this competition amongst them. And the Muslims also. But what did Abraham advise? Abraham was submissive, God said. And Abraham taught, God says, considering what Abraham was, he was submissive. He tells us, follow what Abraham did. And Abraham was one who submitted to God and looked for the good in everything. Just think about that. He had two children that the Quran speaks of. Isaac, from which came the Jewish people, and Ismail, from which came the Muslim race. And these became major religions. And he knew in his wisdom that, and he prayed. We have in the Quran prayers that he made, that God, in the future, how are these children of mine, when they grow up, going to guide mankind? And the verse is when Jacob was the son of Isaac. When you present, the Quran says when death came to Jacob, when he said to his sons, and we know Jacob had 12 sons, the 12 tribes of Israel, what will you worship after me? They answered, we will worship thy God, the God of thy fathers and Ishmael and Isaac, the one God, and to him we submit ourselves. So he was very concerned about what would happen after him. That would happen to the children of Isaac. But the children of Ishmael is another prayer in the Quran, that how he prayed that God, I've left my child Isaac, I left my wife Hajira and my son Ishmael in Mecca, in that desert. Bless this place. The place is a barren desert. There's nothing going on there, but bless it. And we as Muslims can see what happened. The Middle East today, in Mecca, is a blessed place in many ways, financially and spiritually. Our Prophet came and was born in Mecca. But that is not the message, actually, the millah that God is calling us to in this particular verse. The millah of Ibrahim was that he was a prophet that was more accepting than one to be dismissive of others. And this is what we are called to here. The millah, what he is saying is, do not turn to those things that will create division. Are there divisions and differences amongst the children of Abraham? Yes. The Jews, the Christians, the Muslims, they have differences. We all understand that. But is it possible that we can still coexist despite having differences? Despite believing things that are different? And this is the millah of Abraham, yes. That we believe in all the true prophets of God and all the true teachings that they sent. And they are good things amongst all these, and that is why we are here. This is what our community is trying to do. Look for the good in one another. Do not look only at the differences are there and they will continue to exist. But if you're going to make your focus, your aim, and your purpose only to find the difference, you will drive wedges between these faiths and all other faiths that will continue to divide. So instead of dividing and looking at the differences, look instead of the commonalities. The 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments that was given to Moses. Who is there a Christian or a Muslim here that can say that is not good enough to follow? No, I can't think so. Beautiful teachings which we can live by. So these are the many good things that we all can offer to one another, and that is why we often call people together so that they can share the good things and think less of the negative and the things that make us different. So with that, I want to welcome all of you to the Peace Symposium. This is our, like I say, our first one that we're having out in Paarl, and we're honored to be here. It's a great pleasure and a privilege for us to be here, and we look forward to hearing from the speakers today from the different religions. Thank you very much for having us. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Rayan Alam Sahib. Jazakallah ahsan al-jazaa. May God the Almighty reward you with the best reward for that beautiful introduction of our gathering and highlighting certain important teachings, all the verses that were recited early on. Whilst Rayan Alam Sahib was busy, one of our speakers also arrived, Reverend Fani Krill. We welcome you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. No, you're not on yet. I'm just welcoming you. Thank you. Thank you. And the other two that also arrived is two chiefs of the tribe. I hope I'm pronouncing the word correct. Susan and Sidas. Sudam and Sidas. Where are they? Are you also on the speaking panel? No? Oh, okay. Sister Amina? No? Okay. No, we're just welcoming Chief Sidas and Susan. Thank you so much. Okay, we will now continue with the program, and next on the program will be the first speech, which will be, the welcome address by the Councillor Conrad Poole, Executive Mayor of Drakensberg Municipality.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Indeed, it's a great honor, it's a privilege to be here and be part of such a wonderful initiative. I believe in Drakenstein that whatever we do, we have to put God in the center of it. And just as the previous speaker was alluded to, one thing that is united or unite people across race, religion, and he used sport. And it's indeed in Drakenstein sport is one of those incidents or events you can use to bring Drakenstein together as a whole. But last year, almost a year ago, we have one major problem in Drakenstein, and that is when we start having this greatest drought. And that particular challenge was also something, it was a difficult space to be in, but it was also a challenge that unites Drakenstein as a whole, because why we have to work together in order to safeguard that we are not running out of water. But also it makes us as human beings, and it brings a new dimension by the mind, that whatever we get out of the hand of God, we have to respect it We have to value it. And we have to safeguard it so that we are not losing it. And yes, as Drakenstein together across religion, across race, all parts of society work together. And actually, last year at the 13th of October 2017, I launched a Sacco Day in Drakenstein, and I was privileged to invite each and every spiritual leader across religion. And we were sitting the town hall full as spiritual leaders. And this particular verse, Luke 14 verse 11, for all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. And that verse is exactly what it is that whatever we possess, whatever we enjoy in life is through something, and that is, how do we humble ourselves in front of God? Are we prepared to humiliate ourselves and ask Him forgive us for what we have sinned? And I believe Drakenstein have a wonderful connection with the Muslim community. We have a good working relationship. And there's a few examples of it. Our support in the local Jamaat, that is one of the top events in Drakenstein. And just contribute and support this event, say that we in Drakenstein, across race, across religion, we support all our communities. And through that, as the executive mayor, I want to welcome everybody here today. I believe I want to extend the invitation again, because it's an annual Sacco Day we have arranged from now on. Then on the 10th of October, we will again gather together as spiritual leaders in Drakenstein. And once again, I will extend my invitation to the Muslim community as well. And I look forward to see you there when we as together as Drakenstein will seek the face of God. No matter what we are calling Him, but seek the face of God so that He can turn His face to Drakenstein once again, as He did since last year, 2017. And yes, we enjoy the wonderful rain that's falling. Our dams has been filled. We are serving an amazing God. Despite how we call Him, we serve an amazing God. And yes, I want to say thank you. Thank you for this initiative. I believe for us to restore peace and live in peace in our different communities, we have to start here. We have to bring the fight or the battle in the spiritual realm. Because when we win Him there, it's actually possible when we go and take the fight into this world. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for the initiative. And yes, as Drakenstein municipality, we are working together with each and every one. And if we want to do with the annual one thing, why don't we just connect together and just do one thing? The Bible also declares is the king of that particular land that will gather the elders together, and together they will seek the face of God in order to receive His blessings. And you have the opportunity on the 10th of October to come and join us in seeking the face of God in the council chambers. And why in the council chambers? Because by in that chambers we are taking decisions on behalf of mankind, and that is the possession of God. And whatever we take there has an impact on men. And that is exactly where God has to be in order to lead us, to guide us. Whenever we make a decision, that it will be to the benefit of His people and not by ourselves. So once again, it was a huge honor, it's a privilege. And yes, I'm not supposed to be here, but Auntie Amina, she was hampering me since 5 o'clock this morning, said, please, Please, Mayor, you have to be here. Is it, although it's only for a little while. I have other commitment. I have told them I will run a little bit late, but I don't want to disappoint a wonderful person like Amina. She's doing wonderful work for the underprivileged people. And once again, let me use this opportunity, previous councillor of Drakenstein, I thank you for what you are doing, especially in the rural areas, doing a wonderful job, and we adore you. So guys, if I slip now with my wife next to me, it's not that I don't want to be there, but I have other commitment. But I once again want to say thank you that I can say a few words, and once again, you have my commitment. If it's only the available of this hall, I will make it available cost, not that you have to pay for it, but for free. But this is what we need in Drakenstein. People coming together, no matter your religion, but seeking God and ask His way of doing things in order to get peace in our different communities. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Before you leave, Executive Mayor Conan Paarl, don't just run away yet. We first need to thank you, right, for welcoming us here, this initiative, and we need to commend you for the few minutes that you have spent with us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Before you go, we would like to gift you as a present. Could we have the camera, please?
Can you just give me the value of this present? I have to declare it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we once again thank the Executive Mayor very much for his few words of wisdom that he has shared with us. There is another speaker. Please forgive me. It is the Councillor Adrianza. I just missed you. I don't know who is she here? Yeah. Please come join us in front, please. Okay, we will now continue with the program, and we then call upon Reverend Fani Kriel, who will address us for a few minutes.
Chairperson, ladies and gentlemen, what a privilege for me to be here this afternoon. It was such a wonderful thing when I was invited. So I just want to say yes. I also couldn't say no because I was actually forced to be here. Now I want to be here, but it's a wonderful relationship that I can have with the lady who invited me. Thank you for that. And also, it's such an honor for me, and things are changing in South Africa and are changing also in Paarl. When a Muslim congregation invites a Dutch Reformed pastor to come and speak to you about peace, I mean, yeah, so it's a privilege because we live in the same country. And I want to start off by saying that I grew up in Windhoek, Namibia, and I visited Cape Town one day, and my dad was driving in Cape Town. I asked him, who's this Mandela person that you see on all the bridges? They say Free Mandela, and they talk about Mandela. Because I didn't know that, because in Namibia we didn't grow up in apartheid, and we grew up where all people have respect and love for each other. And so, just on behalf again, because we can never say it enough, Net on behalf again on being a pastor of a Dutch Reformed Church and grew up in a non-racial home, I want to say sorry for everything that our church and that we've done wrong in the past in terms of people and hurting people and relationships. By the grace of God, this is also a church that's had a second chance, and by the grace of God, I can also stand yet in front of you today, and living out of the same grace than you do, and seeking for the same solutions in our beautiful country. So, Salam, it's a wonderful privilege for me to be here. People, I want to speak to you. They said I have like 15, 20 minutes. Ek is daar van die Strooidag Kerk en is 'n NG Kerk en 'n NG Kerk kan jy oor enigiets praat, jy mag net oor 'n uur praat nie. So I won't be long. I will be 15 to 20 minutes. First, I want you to understand, because we're going to speak on peace and we're going to speak on unity in diversity. And that's why it's such an honor for me to be here today. I'm also part-time psychologist in Paarl, so I'm what they call a pastoral psychologist. And I work with a lot of people. And today I first want to, there are going to be three aspects I'm going to focus on. The first aspect is on a macro level in terms of the world. How did the world change? We've changed into a secular society, most of the world. What does a secular society mean? Because South Africa, as you know, is also a secular state. So what has taken place over the past 30 years? And Chair, you will also see that in the Muslim society, we can see it in Hindu and Christian society. It's all the same thing in terms of the influence of a secular society. I'm going to speak on that. Then I'm going to talk on the collapsed presence that we basically live in the presence that we live in South Africa now. And then I'm going to ask the third question, is the button being pushed of the time bomb in South Africa? Is the button being pushed or hasn't it been pushed? Are we in a danger time or aren't we? Do we still have hope as Muslims or Christians, or don't we have hope? So that's the three aspects I'm going to speak on. People, there are three big changes that have taken place over the past 20 years in the world, but also in South Africa, because we live in a secular society. And what does a secular society mean? It stands like a black pot. It stands on three legs. And all three of those legs have changed over the past 30 years. And what is the first leg that the pot stands on? The first change that took place, there's a change from the group and the social group to the individual. In other words, people, they still do in South Africa and Africa, but more and more our young people don't think in terms of groups and social groups anymore. They think in terms of the individual. So there's a change, daar's 'n skuif gekom van die groep na die individu. Dis die eerste groot ding wat ons mekaar moet sê. So that's the reason why mosques and churches are under siege. That's the reason that you see that young people don't attend churches or mosques. Because I've got a Muslim friend and he tells me it's the same thing then in your organization. They're young people, you see older people, but not so many young people. Why? Because people don't think in terms of groups anymore. So they rather sit on their cell phones, so they rather sit in small little groups, but they don't believe in going on 2 o'clock on a Friday to a mosque anymore. And that's why worldwide secularization is actually the enemy for belief and how we think in terms of belief. Then there's a second change that took place. There's a change, people, from the authority to the reason. What does that mean? That means our young people in a secular life don't see the Quran, the Holy Quran, don't see the Bible, the scriptures, don't see the Imam or the Reverend as authority people anymore. And in the same terms, they don't see parents in their homes as authority people anymore. I work with a hospital. I've got a practice at a hospital, and they asked me for some help in one of the wards. So what happened there is the manager of that ward, she asked one of the nurses in training to go and wash a patient. And the nurse just said to her, why must I do it? Because we work for the same hospital, we get a salary, you can do it, I'm busy doing something else. So what we see in these days is people, they don't see people in authority as important anymore. So I don't say it's good or bad. That's just in a secular society, that's what's happening. So there's a shift from authority to the reason. So people want to reason out their own authority and the future. And that's the second big change. There's a third big change that's taken place. And that's people don't live in tradition anymore, but they live in the here and the now. People want instant gratification. Our young people, once when they hit the button of the mouse, they want the photo or the email go through to America or to wherever in the world at that moment. In other words, our young people don't think in terms of tradition anymore. School tradition, family traditions, Muslim tradition, Christian traditions. So they want things instant now in terms of instant gratification. And that is worldwide what's happening around us. And you will see that in every society in our country, you will see those three big changes taking place. Then the second thing that I want to touch on, we live in a time, in the presence, worldwide, but also in South Africa, where we are very much uncertain of the future. So we don't know what lies in the future. They said that the Third World War presumably will take place in terms of water, that there's not going to be enough water in the world anymore. We see that countries don't have enough money anymore and go bankrupt. I mean, when we grew up, nothing like that happened in the past. So we see big changes in the world. So we're very uncertain in terms of the future and where we're heading, also in our country. But at the same time, we're also very much uncertain of the past. In other words, we can't go back to the past. We can't go back to a pre-cell phone time. We can't go back to a pre-computer time. We can't go back to the old days. Even though some of us go and say, but some of the old days were better, we want to go back. We can't. And in this time, in this presence, where we have uncertain past and uncertain future, the psychologists right around the world, they call it collapsed presence. What does that mean? In other words, uncertain presence. A presence where people feel that they are trapped between a very bad past and a very bad future. And in that collapsed presence, there's only one norm and only one value that counts. And that's a norm and value of hedonism. Not Hinduism. Hinduism is a belief. It's something that people believe in. But hedonism means that people want to take and enrich themselves as much and as quickly as they can, and then they want to flee. And that we see in South African politics. We see it right around the world. That people will enrich themselves and they will steal and take from other people, and they don't care because there's a dangerous past, but there's also an uncertain future. And in this time, people, that we live, we have to change that norm and value of hedonism. We have to change it in terms of believing in God and looking after each other again. And living slower and have more time for our parents and have more time for children and family time together. In these times, we can't go into a stage where we grab and run and enrich ourselves. This is a very, very important time that we will look after each other across races, across beliefs, it doesn't matter if you're Christian or you're Muslim, that we will say we're under the same siege, that people will say in this time, we don't want people to become Muslims, we don't want people to become Christians. We just want people to believe in nothing and grab and enrich themselves, because that is the only norm and value that is important in these times. And then I want to go to the third thing, and the question is, in South Africa, has the button been pressed of the time bomb that we live in? So can we say we don't have any future, we don't have hope for the future, and is there any hope for our future? Yes, there is. If you take the bell curve, I don't know if you know the bell curve, the klokgrafiek, it's like a bell hanging to the ground, and you take the two edges, and you say 10% of our people in our country say are extreme left, and 10% are extreme right. What the media does and politics does, they sort of put these two parties in contrast with each other, and they write about that. And those are the newspapers that you read and that we buy. Those are the news that we listen to. So on the one hand, extreme left people, and on the other hand, extreme right people. And you know what? We think that is the future of our country, and comparing those two groups to each other. No. There's a big group of 80% people in the middle, and that big group is me and you. People who every day go out and live in peace. People that will see the sunshine over black, white and brown in our country. People that see the sunshine over Muslims, over Christians, over Hindus in our country. And people who pay their taxes. People who work hard. People who treat their children with respect. People who treat their adults with respect. In this country, it's 80% of our country is in this middle group. And people, why? Or the question is the button been pressed of the time bomb now? Because this middle group, we call it the civil society in our country, is too strong. And as long as we keep that middle group strong, as long as we don't get into extreme groups on the left or extreme groups into the right, as long if we don't go into fundamentalism in terms of Christianity, but also in terms of the Islam, we will keep that middle space intact. And when we have hope, and when we do the right things in South Africa, then there is hope for South Africa. The time bomb's button will be pressed when this middle group splits up, and when we don't have respect for each other anymore. And that when Christian and Muslim can't live in peace in South Africa together anymore, like it is at this moment. And we have to fight for that in terms of peace and respect that. And that's why unity, people, in diversity, is so extremely, extremely important for our country at this moment. That we will keep this middle group together in cohesion. That we will love each other and respect each other. That we respect each other's beliefs and our languages and our cultures. And that we say there's no culture and no belief. It's when it tells you not to love other people around you, it's not worthwhile following. So if we can come to a stage that we say what you believe in and I believe in, we will differ because we grew up differently. But I have respect for you, and I let the sun shine over your head. But I will also help you and assist you in this beautiful country of ours. So people, when we have the civil society, the 80% in the middle, and we do the right thing, then the time bomb has not been pressed. And you know, that's why we will have hope in South Africa. And that's why we will live together. And that's why it's so important to have unity in diversity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Reverend Fani Kriel. Thank you so much for sharing those wonderful words of wisdom with us. And yeah, his appeal at the last, I mean, that sums up the whole thing, that we need that respect, we need that love with one another. We need to, yes, there will always be differences, but we need to to bring all those differences in one way, we accept one another, and in that way we can start living and forming one beautiful community in this beautiful country of ours. Continuing with the program, the following two speakers has not arrived yet, so we will go to number 11 on the program, Mr. Ashot Kumar from the Hindu community. May we request you to share a few words with us, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thank you for coming for the symposium. Well, I come from India, as you all know, and work in an Indian restaurant here in Paarl called Moksha. And my belief and my ideology is different than other people think. I'm Hindu. I was born Hindu, and I do practice my religion, and I do practice. And in India, we taught like being a secular country. We live together with Muslims, Christians, Hindu, Sikhs, Jewish, everyone. And what we've been taught all these years is that in school or in wherever you go, you are given equal chances, opportunity and love for everyone. And me personally, I think it's, as South Africa as I see, and I'm a foreigner, and I see it as one country which has similar problems that we have in India. We've got different people, different culture, and different thoughts about things, and how people look at it is different. But growing up the harmony amongst the people and through integration can only be done through proper beliefs, that we have different beliefs in different religion has to be brought together. And I will not impose my thoughts on you. It's all up to you. And all of us here, it's more of a different community. And you must understand that day in, day out, I work in a restaurant. And I get to meet people from different culture, different race, and different religion beliefs, and talk to them, and I get my experience and get to know this, that through only one way that we can achieve harmony is through integration. And it has happened in India, and I believe it can happen also here in South Africa. It's for years. I know India has been 70 years now, 74 years that we've been away from the way we got freedom. South Africa, it's 24 years probably, but it's not much different. It has to be done my way, I think. It has to be done the right time, and people have to get together, love each other, respect each other, believe in religions. That's all. Thank you so much. I hope you can enjoy it. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashot Kumar of the Hindu community, for sharing with us a few of your words of wisdom. Thank you so much. God bless. Continuing with the program, our next speaker will be Mrs. Barbara Morali. Please forgive me if I pronounce it incorrectly. Mrs. Barbara Morali is from Living Hope Ministries, and she will share a few words with us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to thank the lady that invited me. My schedule was very busy today, but sometimes you just say, I cannot disappoint this person. I have to be there. No matter how busy I am, I must make time. My name is Barbara. I'm Barbara Mkhali from the community of Mbekweni. I'm standing for Living Hope Ministries, which is I'm staying in Mbekweni. The topic is about unity and diversity. Two powerful words. I think Reverend Fanny touched all the angles that I wanted to touch. But while I was sitting there, I was having a question in my mind that why are we in this mess today? It's because we have lost our values. We don't have values. We don't have morals. Our young people, they don't know what is important. And then they don't keep what their fathers were doing. And we became more modernized. And we forget where are we coming from. It doesn't matter, it's not about the color. It's about having values, take care of each other, respect one another, so that we can build a nation that will be more progress. I came to a point while I was sitting there that we all face challenges in our communities. In my community, there's a high use of drugs, alcohol. If you come to a colored community, it's the same. If you go to Cape Town, to Mitchell's Plain, it's the same thing. As much as we are different in color, we are diverse, but we are sharing same problems. And then we need to come to a point where we will have meetings like this. What must we do now? It's to sit down and see when can we help each other. Unity means that togetherness. Once we collect one another to be in one place, we'll be able to share all the problems. We'll be able to assist one another. So today I just feel so great to be here, because to me this was diversity on its own. We are here sharing everything. We are here knowing that when we go out here, if I need help, I can network with that organization. If there's a problem in my community, I can network with that one. And if we can join together and work together, there will be no poverty in our communities. We will respect each other and we will enrich our cultures. Because once you come in here, you could see there's a certain culture. And then how can you know what is happening in that culture? You can only know by networking with those type of people and learn more what is happening. I'm a Xhosa person. How can you know what's my culture? You can only know my culture by having an opportunity to sit with me and then we talk about it. So that in future, you know, in that culture, that one, it's not accepted. If I'm going there, I have to act like this way. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Thanks. As much as I'm going to leave, Dani, maar ek gaan weer kom, moenie worry.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Barbara Morelli, for sharing with us a few words of wisdom. Thank you so much. Our next speaker from the Islamic community, Mr. Abdul Aziz Abdul Latif. Just hold on. Are you leaving now? Mrs. Barbara? Are you leaving now? Will you? Okay, just hold on. We would like to give you something before you go. Reverend Fania, are you also leaving? Okay, we can't let you go empty-handed. We need to give you something.
Sorry, I already needed to go.
Yeah, we can just quickly come. Okay. The president?
I just want to present you with something. Thank you so much. Just come.
Sorry, Chair, you know, our white people, we bury our people in the week and we do marriages on Saturday, so.
Thank you so much for coming. Wise words.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much again, Reverend Fani Kriel and Mrs. Barbara Morelli, for sharing a few minutes with us this afternoon. Okay, we are now with Mr. Abdul Aziz Abdul Latif. Saeed, please.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Distinguished guests, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Most of my speech was taken from the Review of Religions, February 1993, by Dr. Yaz Ahmad Qamar. Mr. Chairman, the edifice and the whole superstructure of Islamic faith is predicated on one cardinal principle, the principle of the unity of the Creator, God, and the unity of humanity which He has created. I have basically two sources of knowledge to expand on this concept. One of them is the Holy Scriptures of Islam, the Quran, and the other is the collections of the sayings of the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings of God be upon him, the Hadith. Islam bases the culture it seeks to promote on the foundations of a firm belief in the existence of a uniquely divine, singular Creator, God. This Creator revealed Islam as a synthesis and unifying philosophy of life, leading us not only to spiritual enlightenment, but also to a unique set of morals and culture. It fosters in a unique manner mutual love and affection, human togetherness and tolerance for others who are different from yourselves. These universal and profound teachings of Islam are meant to create a universal human culture based on unity of God Almighty and equality of mankind. The Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of God be upon him, said, "O people, your Lord is one, you are the progeny of the same Father. Hence, it is not permissible for you to make any discrimination between high and low. Neither an Arab has superiority over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab over an Arab. A white person is not superior to a black person, and nor a black is superior to a white. The most honorable among you in the sight of God is the one who is the most righteous." Addressing a large gathering of people, Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of God be upon him, said, vehemently stressed the same thoughts in the following words: "You are brothers and sisters. You are all equal. No matter to which nation or tribe you belong, and no matter what your status is, you are equal. Just as the fingers of both hands are alike, nobody can claim to have any distinctive right or greatness over another. The command which I give you today is not just only for today, but it is forever. Always remember and keep acting on it until you return to your true master." Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of God be upon him, being a universal messenger and a confirmer of all previous prophets, was a messenger and commissioned to create a distinctive culture of tolerance and understanding from an Arab culture which had strong overtones of racial, color, and language prejudice. Non-Arabs were labeled as Ajam, which was a racial term to describe mute people who in Arab views could not express themselves well. Notwithstanding the fact that Arabia was partly under the heels of the Romans and partly under the heels of the Persians, the Arabs regarded themselves as a much superior race. The Negroes were regarded as chattels and slaves. The Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of God be upon him, had to erase these prejudices based on race, color, tongues, etc. As a practical example, a Negro from Ethiopia by the name of Bilal was chosen by the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings of God be upon him, to deliver the call of prayer in his own mosque. This was a high honor which could not be imagined before the Prophet's pronouncements. There are many examples which illustrate tolerance and racial equality in Islamic history. I wish that kind of history could be repeated today. Once a Christian delegation was allowed to hold their worship and service in the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings of God be upon him, mosque. One of the examples worth noting comes from Spain. After arriving on the soil of Spain, the Muslim published an edict assuring full liberty to all subjects of all races and backgrounds. All were placed on an equal footing. It is recorded in history that the Jews, for example, profited most from the Muslim rule and administration. Many centuries later, when Spain was conquered by Ferdinand and Isabella, innumerable Jews preferred to go to Islamic lands rather to stay in Christian Spain. These shining examples of racial harmony draw the philosophical underpinning from the Holy Quran, where mankind is referred to as one community and a single nation. This reference to mankind as one community or nation and identical words have been used at least 7 times in the scripture, signifying the fundamental and unifying character of all human beings. The Quran, however, not only takes note of diversity in the universe, but also stresses the useful purpose of diversity in races, colors, languages, cultures, wealth, in human social order, and describes these diversities as signs of God for those who reflect and possess knowledge. But none of these distinctive attributes confers any special privileges on human beings or imposes any liability or disability. Actually, if we reflect, we will find that human progress in life is closely linked with the diversity and attributes in various civilizations and cultures. Sameness would not have propelled us into action of greater achievements and challenges. Moreover, it is not impossible to conceive that if each one of us would have been alike in culture, language, color, etc., this would have been a very boring, monotonous, and unspectacular. There would have been no particular urge to learn from one another and develop in various facets of life. It is only the diversity in life which makes this world colorful, wonderful, and propels people towards higher goals and objectives. Despite this diversity, there is a basic unity enshrined in nature and human beings, as pointed out earlier. Now I'm going to highlight the Magna Charta of human fraternity and unity contained in the Holy Quran. The verse reads, O mankind, we have created you from a male and a female, and we have made you into tribes and sub-tribes for the sake of easy recognition. Verily the most honorable among you in the sight of God is the most righteous amongst you. Surely God is all-knowing, all-aware. Chapter 49, verse 15. This verse lays down the basis of all comprehensive and all-pervading brotherhood and sisterhood of all human beings. It is addressed to and is aimed at all human beings, and it is not confined to the believers of the Quran. As a matter of fact, the whole message of the Quran is for all people, everywhere. This particular verse strikes at the roots of false and conjectural notions of racial arrogance and superiority. It affirms that the worth of a person is not to be judged by the pigment of his skin, rank, social or economical status, or such measuring tools, but the standard is what a person can do as a moral and social human being in discharging his responsibilities and obligations to God and to his creation, including all flora and fauna. We are advised to be very respectful to nature and mindful of personal and national practices and sustainable environment and its resources, which is the most equitable way of life for us and for our future generations. The diversity in nature constantly reminds us that there is not only a basic unity in diversity, but also uniformity in diversity. Without this unity and uniformity, everything would have fallen apart long ago. There might be a feeling that I'm digressing from the topic. In fact, I'm not digressing, rather I'm trying to show the interconnection in various aspects of our lives. This universe has not been created for the benefit of a class or section or individual. Human beings have been created for an objective and a purpose which is common to the whole of mankind. Therefore, the dominion which has been entrusted to people over resources of the universe and the forces of nature must be for the benefit of all mankind. If this principle was recognized, accepted, and put into practice, only then the regulation of human activity in all spheres, individual, social, cultural, and political, will become wholly beneficent, and mankind will begin to live at peace and harmony with one another. If we are well-balanced, moral human beings, we will be highly sensitive to the surroundings around us, both physical and natural environment as well as human environment. It is with this human environment that we have to be culturally understanding and racially harmonious. If we do not do that, we will be inviting human misery. We are fortunate that in South Africa and the province of the Western Cape, where we live, we have public policies and programs in place which are designated to create an atmosphere of pride, equality, and partnership of all of us, irrespective of our backgrounds. In this country, we feel humbly proud that we are part of a community of South Africa at this juncture. To have such a feeling about a country in which you can define yourself, understand yourself, legitimately practice and profess what you stand for is a part of our religious faith and belief. To conclude, Mr. Chairman, the edifice and our central goal is to promote the vision of unity and diversity that is articulated in the preamble to the Constitution. The time for such peace symposiums is ripe, because the concept of South Africa as a multicultural country in which all our communities enjoy equal respect and dignity is under growing pressure. The main global threat to peace during the 21st century is no longer comes from conflict between countries, but rather from the inability of states to manage relationships between ethnic, cultural, and religious communities within their own borders. The United Nations Development Programme has identified cultural liberty as a vital part of human development. If handled well, it can lead to greater cultural diversity and enrich people's lives. However, if it is mismanaged, it can quickly become one of the greatest sources of instability within states and between them. The answer is to respect diversity and build unity through common bonds of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdulatif, for sharing those beautiful words of wisdom with us. We are quickly coming to the end of our program, mainly because two of the speakers has not arrived. But alhamdulillah, so far we have had a wonderful afternoon. But before we come to our closing, may I request Mr. Rayan Sahib just hold on. Just to hand over the last two guest speakers, the present, please. Yeah, the last two speakers, yeah. That will be the Hindu speaker. Where's Mr. Yeah, the gives, yeah. Mr. Ashok Kumar. Mr. Ashok, please come to the front. And the lady councillor Adriansa. Okay. Okay, first to Mr. Ashok Kumar from the Hindu community. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us this afternoon. And to Mrs. Adriansa, councillor of the ward. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Rayan Alam Saib and Mr. Kamal Alam Saib. Since we have a bit of time, it was then decided that we will allow a few comments from the floor, not questions. Not questions, only comments. Anyone that wants to come up here to say some words, maybe just a minute or 2 minutes. In relation, of course, with the theme of the program, Unity and Diversity, a journey towards peace. Anyone? Please. If I remember correctly, that is Chief Sedas. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. I can't see why I must talk some English when Afrikaans is also so good, because most of the poor people like to hear it in Afrikaans, and then they will understand. But there is some people that want to know it in English also. So I'm going back to Afrikaans. I verstaan ons allemaal baie bitter, right? Ek het nog geluister wat die menere hier sê en die burgemeester en ons speakers. Baie dankie vir elkeen van julle. Baie dankie vir die geleentheid, counselor. Jammer dat ek hier gegroet het. En ek is bly vir die geleentheid. Maar my saak gaan oor die geskiedenis van almal ons mense. My saak gaan oor waar was die tyd wat ons almal in een straat gebly het. Wat ons almal se probleme ons almal sin was. Irrespectief wat die religie is, irrespectief van wat 'n kant af hier kom. Wat het geword van die tyd? Wat het geword van ons groot mense wat by mekaar kom en sit in gesels? Wat het geword van die mense wat in dieselfde straat bly en in dieselfde area bly, wat sit in gesels oor die probleme van die straat of die probleme van die area? Ons almal dink die dinge saamgestel binne 'n religious koen, terwyl dit 'n historiese koen is. Dieselfde bloed wat deur my are loop, leep deur ons almal se are. En daar was 'n tyd waar groot mense kon gesit het by mekaar en nie elkeen gehad het na sy religion toe nie. Ek het in 'n gesprek gesit saam met mense met dieselfde storie. En hulle sê religion het agterstallig geword vir die community. Toe ek groot geword het, ek dink ons het net in Chicago ingetrek. En my ma se suster het in Kensington gebly. En dan het ons Muslim Kersfeestyd. Ek ken nie daai daar nie. Ek weet net ek was aan die hand gevat. Dan gaan ons Maitland toe. En daar het jy gesê met almal, never mind wie jy is. Want because die community daar het nie 'n race of 'n religion geken nie. Die community daar in die straat van Voortrekker Road, vanaf die Kaap tot en met Goodwood, was 'n community wat gestaan het net vir een ding, is nou Muslim Kersfees, is nou Indian Kersfees, is nou Christen Kersfees, en almal party saam. En dan word uitgedeel uit elkeen se hand, uit elkeen se sak uit, vir die wat minder bevoorreg is. Ek kom van die plaas af, ek kom met die Paarl uit, so ons weet as ons met die pad toe gaan, of die kan gaan wees, ons kom met sakke vandaan huis toe, want die is niks om te eet, want die drywerlorry begin eers Kersfees te ry. So wat het geword van daardie mense? Het ons groot mense nou te groot geraak, en ons sit ons nou een kan op 'n hoekie, en ons point vingers na die kinders toe. Want dit is ons groot mense se skuld, dat die kinders is waar hulle vandag is. Dat die kinders doen wat hulle vandag doen. Want as jy een anti-raas, dan sê die ander anti, moenie raas met my kind nie. Of die kind sê vir die ma, my ma moenie my kind kom sê wat om te doen. Ons het ons gemeenskap self opgedeel in stukke in. Ek hoor van 'n moslim gemeenskap, ek hoor nie van ons gemeenskap nie. Ek hoor van 'n Christen gemeenskap. Daar is 'n religion. Gemeenskap is almal. Die woord gemeenskap include almal. Everybody. It's part of community. There was a time when there was no Bokweni. Everybody was living here. And then the white men decide, if your skin is black, you need to go and live there. But they were still part of this community. So we don't see a difference between us and Bokweni. Because we were one. And my family are still there. The Petersons, the Simons, the Boysons, they are still there. We wasn't divided. But the only thing that draws a line between communities is religion. But most of us, if we are blacks or Christian or Hindu, if you go back to history, there was one family. So you got married into a Muslim community, a Muslim religion. You got married into a Christian religion. But somewhere there you were one family. So we break the family up into religions. So some of the families has 5 different types of religions. But the problem is not the religion. The problem is the community. The problem is us. The problem is me. Do I want to sit with this big man? Do I respect him as a grown elder? Do I want to be respected? If I want to be respected, then I must give respect back. Maar kan ons saam sit en gesels? Kan ons om 'n tafel sit en gesels en sê, hier is 'n probleem? Of is ons gedivided as 'n community? Volgende jaar staat iets wat weer die community gaan opdivide. Ons kan nou nog die gemeenskap by mekaar bring. Ek wil weet, ek bly in die Paarl. Ek wil weet ek is van die plaas. Ek wil weet ek is deel van die gemeenskap. Maar ek wil ook kan sê, ek ken die mense daar. Wat is die probleem? Waarmee kan ek help? Ek wil weet ek kom uit die flats uit. Ek wil weet ek kom uit watter pad uit. Maar ek wil aan weet, maar ek ken die persoon. Wat kan ek doen om te help? Maar ons divide mekaar op. So ek is bly vir die geleentheid wat ek kry om hier te staan. Want dit het tyd geword dat ons moet nader na mekaar toe beweeg. Of ons nou 'n religion is, en of ons different gemeenskappe is, ons moet meer sulke tafel skep, ons moet meer sulke environment skep, sodat ons nie mekaar kan divide nie. Want ek wil nie weet, my auntie is moslim of my uncle is, dis irrelevant vir my, dis my auntie. Dis my mense. En wanneer ek sê dis my mense, dan het ek access. Ons kan verenig, ons kan saamgesels. Maar ons het te veel strukture waaraan ons gemeenskappe behoort, dat ons gemeenskappe opverdeel. Die history van die gemeenskap, in die Paarl of in Drakensberg, ons almal is deel daarvan. Ons was deel daarvan. Ons het saam sports gemaak. Ons was saam op een skool. Vandag kan 'n vrou vir my sê, nee man, ek gaan nie 'n meisie vat, sorry, dat ek my hierdie praat. Ek gaan nie 'n meisie vat om in my plek te kom werk, wat in Klapmuts bly nie. My vriendin, sy soek sonder kos. Ek gaan vir haar vat om te kon help in my huis. Ek gaan vir haar vat om te kon help in sy huis, want daar by haar huis gaan ook niks aan nie. Ons moet mekaar help. Ons moet na mekaar toe kyk. Ons moet nie kyk na buitemense of buitegemeenskappe nie. En dan divide ons weer ons gemeenskap op nie. En dan kom sit ons en ons praat van 'n storie wat dit lyk as nie ons skuld nie. Dit is ons skuld. Aanvaar jy as die blame na jou kant toe. Dit is ons skuld. Ons moet iets doen aan die situasie. En dit is een van die prosesse. Daar het die burgemeester gepraat van nog 'n proses. Maar ons moet dit doen in ons straat, in die pad waar ons bly, in die area waar ons is. Daar moet ons begin. Sodat wanneer ons na plekke soos dit toe kom, dan is ons al 'n stap voor. Dan is dit nog makliker. Baie dankie vir die geleentheid.
Baie dankie. Chief Siddhas, for your wonderful word. Thank you very much for that. May God bless you. Right. Anyone else would like to say a comment? Anyone? No one else? Okay, then finally, we would like then to call upon the ward councillor, Mrs. Adriansa, and we would like to request her to give us a summing up of the afternoon. Thank you.
I want to thank all the religious leaders who were here today, those who are gone also. And I want to thank Almina for inviting me to thank you. And everything I've listened today is about a common goal we have as people of God to fight the common goal we have in our communities for peace. And the leaders, the church leaders, the religious leaders is here to always remind us what our purpose is here on earth. And I thank you very much for this afternoon, because we are so busy with many things on a Saturday afternoon, and nobody think about such a symposium on a Saturday afternoon, because we are busy with, you know, I know a lot of people who are sitting here were thinking I could have done something else. Now I must sit here, but I think after this we are very thankful for hearing what our purpose is in our communities, in our country. I want to thank you for, you know, I listened on a TV channel about humanity having a common goal to fight the enemy. But I think we here as councillors have a common goal to fight unemployment, poverty, violence, gangsterism. That's everything we as councillors are fighting every day, and we need you as religious leaders to pray for us, and so that we can have strength every day to do our best for our people. And I also want to thank the community that came here, that made time to be here with us as councillors. And we thank you for your support. Every time we call you, you come and you come and support us. And we know on a Saturday afternoon, it's not what's the word? Is hier gewoonte om op 'n Saterdagmiddag in 'n diens te kom sit. Ons sê vir julle baie dankie dat julle gekom het om vir ons te ondersteun. Ons waardeer dit. Baie dankie. I thank you.
Baie dankie, councillor. Nee, het is 'n groot plesier dat ons gekom het, en baie dankie for welcoming us. Thank you so much for welcoming us. We have now come to the end of our program for the afternoon, and but before we come to the prayer, just a few final words of the day. We have learned a lot. We have listened to many speakers, and yes, more or less all of them have said the same thing in terms of our path that we need to take in unity, in diversity. But I must say that my brother, Chief Siddham, he really summed up the whole thing very nicely in a few very simple words of going back into the past. What has happened? I mean, what has happened? We were one community many years ago. I also remember growing up where we had one Eid in one road or one Christmas. Everybody joined together in all these celebrations, and suddenly there was separation, due to, of course, many reasons, and of course we won't go into those reasons now. But the very fact that we are here today, we are introducing this initiative whereby in all our differences, and differences there will be, of necessity there will be differences. God, in fact, in His infinite wisdom, has created everything different. Nothing is the same, and that is all the wisdom of God. Right? How dare we look down on people who are different from us? You are not like me, so I don't like you. That is the whole attitude throughout the world. Or I am better than you because you don't look like me. But if we really sit down and we think about all the differences, that is the wisdom of God. And how can we speak against or act against the wisdom of God? So we have introduced these initiatives of peace symposiums whereby we can come together, whereby we can speak together, whereby we can share together. And inshallah, God willing, we need to bring people together. What some of the people have said today, and even the summing up of the counselor, where we need to look at God. God should always be at the center. We need to humble ourselves in front of God. That is fundamental. Nothing can work if we don't look at God as the center. So with that, once again, thank you so much to everyone. God bless all of you for coming together and sharing together this beautiful afternoon. And we also pray that this is not going to be the first one nor the last one. We need to meet more regular in the future. And with that, I would like to call upon the local Sadr, the local president of our Jamaat, our community here in Cape Town, to lead us in a silent prayer.
Yes, it is our tradition that when we close these events, we have a silent prayer, and you are welcome to join us if you so wish. So we'll now have a silent prayer, silent dua. Ameen.
Thank you so much, Jazakallah Riyan Sahib. Do not leave, because we have some refreshments in the corner. And then from our side, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of God be with you.